Hey, everybody, welcome to Stadium Drive, the podcast. My name is Jeff, and this is Alex. Uh, Stadium Drive, the podcast, is basically a 10-episode series where we're going through our first record, Scenic City, and we're going track by track to talk about some cool gear that we used, maybe some fun stories behind the scenes, some fun maybe tidbits about the lyrics. And this is Pablo, our co-producer. He's so dark. I wonder if you can even see him in a second. That's funny. Lincoln behind the running the ones and twos says no, you can't even see him.
Yes.
Lincoln, by the way, huge shout out. I would be absolutely remiss if like all of this was literally set up by Lincoln. So he's gonna get his flowers multiple times throughout this. Anyways, so yeah, episode 3. We're at episode 3. Don't I Know? It was the first ever single that we dropped in September of 2003. Or 2023.
It was the first single. I kind of had forgotten that.
First single. Actually, it came out the weekend that I was in Maine when I wrote like,
Walden.
some of the other ones. Yeah.
That's funny.
And speaking of Walden, so you can go back, you can listen to the Walden Part 1 episode, MST episode. We'll do these probably about a weekly cadence. Who knows, maybe more often. So Don't I Know, first single that came out. Again, it sticks with that very like raw sound. I think we had just a couple acoustics, bass,
pretty much same formula.
Percussion.
The only really wild thing we did on a production side is we went a little crazy with some of the tambourine we had throughout the bridge and some other spots.
Yeah. Before we get into some of that, because actually, I can't wait to hear this. It's been a little while since we've revisited this. So Don't I Know, just really quickly, if you haven't listened to it, you should pause this and go listen to it. We're not going to wait for you to do that. We're going to keep going. But the song is really about like basically the phrase "Don't I Know." It's like, you know, when you're in, whether it's a relationship or maybe just a situation in general, and people in your life are telling you how to do those things, or maybe like what situations, what choices should be made, and you're like, well, I'm in the situation. Like,
so
wouldn't you think that I like have the most information to make the choices that need to be made? Anyway, so beyond that, like I said, you can go listen to it. Lyrics are pretty straightforward. And yeah, to Alex's point, we had some pretty funny percussion. So we didn't want to bring in the kit yet. We have a big drum set. We're going to talk about that in a couple episodes. But really, we wanted to keep it kind of simple, maybe kick drum, and then something else. And the hi-hat cymbal wasn't quite enough. It was just a little too crisp. We were trying like a couple of cymbal things. It just wasn't quite working. So Alec had this toy tambourine. Pablo hates the tambourine.
Yeah, that's great.
So do you even know where you got this?
No idea. I couldn't tell you. It's been around since I was a kid, I think.
Yeah,
I've got a few there's some bongos over there that have existed since I was like 3.
That's like the auxiliary percussion section over there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like,
did you bring the big white tambourine over?
No, I don't know.
I don't know where that came from.
Is that Cole's maybe?
Maybe.
We need to give that back to Cole.
I don't know. It's not mine. So
Anywho.
Just stealing music equipment over here.
So yeah, basically origins unknown, but this little tambourine was in the center of, or just kind of in the corner of the room. This is the studio where we recorded everything. And so if you can notice on the camera, it's got kind of this is naturally where you would hold it. But I think we weren't getting like as much of a, like it was kind of a little bit tinny when I held it here and it was kind of abrasive when I was like hitting the actual plastic part. And so I actually, in the studio, I held it by the red part and actually
hit the rubber part.
And I tried to hold it as lightly as possible to get it to like ring out as much as possible. And you can actually see there's like a little bit of beat up where literally.
Did you actually hold it the whole time? I thought you had it on the hi-hat.
So
we were just hitting it though.
We tried it on a stand. Yeah, we tried it on a stand and it deadened it too much, I think.
You're right. I do remember that now that you say that.
So I literally like held it as still as possible under the microphone. And then Alex in post kind of did some funny things with it. So do we want to like pull it up?
Hop over here quick. Just really quickly. Here's just the tambourine, like the normal tambourine sound. I think we turn this up a little bit. All right. And I'm sending that to a reverb too. There's the kick drums and the reverb too, but you get the idea, right? So there's your normal tambourine, right? What we did with this section is we hit every downbeat and sent it through this crazy filter where we were getting a huge amount of sustain out of a single hit. And this was kind of our crash cymbal. We basically like reverse engineered a crash cymbal with this tambourine. If you see, I pulled up, the last thing it's running through is actually a distortion pedal here. It's a pretty nasty distortion if you put it on a guitar, so it's funny that it's working kind of cool on this tambourine. But anyways, yeah, you throw that all together and you get this for a drum sound. So if I get rid of those,
It's got this splash, almost like watery kind of.
Very watery, like granular or like sand spilling, if you can imagine what that would sound like.
Yeah.
I doubt it's that loud, but that's what I imagine it would sound like, you know.
That's so funny. So can you play it like in context to kind of hear?
Yeah, we can just run the solo over here. Yeah. I could turn those way up if I want. Yeah.
And it's out.
Yeah.
Cool. You brought up that oh, keep grabbing my microphone. You brought up that distortion pedal and that it can be used for guitars and everything. Did you already know about these plugins like going into this, or were you kind of just shopping around? Because this is a pretty huge software, right?
Yeah. So Pro Tools, this is I'm a cheapskate, so I'm literally running all of the built-in plugins that came with Pro Tools. And there's plenty of them, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people, you know, I mean, go out and spend some money on good plugins, and I probably ought to get around to it. But frankly, everything I've had here has been more than enough for it. I've been using this word a lot, but a lot of the projects that seem to come through here, like the expectations are pretty modest. You know, it's like I don't need to have a bunch of top-notch compressors and, you know, limiters and such. It's like most of the recording projects I'm doing are pretty lo-fi and pretty low maintenance, and I think everything that I've got in Pro Tools allows me to do what I think I need to do. Obviously, you don't know what you're missing until you have it, but
Lo-fi maybe, but like everything comes out with. I mean, this song in particular, I thought, you know, given the first two songs on the record and then kind of going into this one, there's kind of like a crispness to it, almost like a definitely this heightened sense of like yeah, it might be lo-fi in the making of it, but I thought the final product was like phenomenal.
well, again, I think that just speaks to having good instruments and decent performances.
Good microphones.
Yep.
Maybe we should talk about the microphones at some point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely worth looking at. Very simple mic setup here. I use a Rode and NT1, I think it's called, and the Bluebird. Those are the two main mics for just about everything. And then yeah, an array of supplemental stuff. A few have come and gone, just as all things do. But yeah.
Yeah, some of them fall off the stand and just.
Yeah, usually because of me, because I do something stupid. But
I saw the other day you were working with Jared. And
I had to
saw
tape
that,
something.
yeah, I saw the mic was literally taped.
I've actually found an ingenious way to jerry rig that microphone from this point on. So
that's pretty funny.
I hate, this is a pet peeve of mine, is if you've ever owned a nice microphone, they always come with like a fancy stand that is like suspended kind of in air with like some like almost like ponytail clips. That's not what they are, but it's almost kind of what they're like if you've never used one or seen one. Anyways, these things annoy me to no end. So I just, whenever I can get rid of them, I get rid of them. So
yeah, it does have that little almost like hammock or something where
it's too fancy for me, man. I can't do it, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe if I get an expensive microphone someday, I'll bite the bullet and just suck it
Maybe
up.
you'll
But
take care of it.
yeah, maybe I'll actually take care of it.
These guys got some character. They've heard a lot of artists too. A lot of vocals, a lot of instruments, because you pretty much, no matter what your setup is, you're always trying to get
Mhm.
like a combo of those two voices.
Yeah, the Rode and the Bluebird, I don't know what it is, but everyone seems to like the way they blend together. And yeah, maybe this is, breaking some sort of unwritten, production, commandment, if you will. But like, because traditionally you go into a nice studio and they've got their like $10,000 microphone that is the vocal microphone. You go in and you record on that. It's like no questions asked.
Mhm.
To double mic, vocals. I don't know how typically that's done. But it seems to work for down here with what I've got. People seem to like it, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
keep
think
doing it.
back when we were doing this, you had so nowadays you just have both of them like right side up, I guess you would say.
I've
But
done it a
do you
million
remember
ways.
back then you
Yeah,
would suspend
yeah.
one of
So
the
the
microphones upside down?
Yeah, and I still do that. I it depends just kind of on the height of the person and stuff, mostly, or and also just how lazy I am. I really didn't. I couldn't notice really a difference having them really close to each other side by side versus directly above or below.
Mhm.
And again, maybe I'm breaking some noise commandment that I don't know about. Like maybe probably Steve Albini is rolling over in his grave right now. I don't know, but
Our next album needs to be called Noise Commandment.
noise commandments. Yeah.
Or maybe this
Yeah.
podcast should be called The 10 Noise
Yeah,
Commandments.
there you go. That's actually
10 episode series.
that's there you go.
Yeah,
Now we're on to something.
Stadium Drive the podcast.
Yeah, screw that. No,
Yeah.
I like that. That's way better. The noise commandments.
The 10 Noise Commandments.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, etched into stone. Well, anyways, did you want to talk? Because there was a really cool plugin that you've used on My Voice. We could talk
Yeah,
about it today.
yeah. This episode's gone kind of quick. Maybe this is the best time to do it. Yeah, pretty much universally I love to run Jeff's vocals through when I send his vocal to its own reverb, like I do with guitars and stuff. Let's just grab a chorus or something here.
And to give this, so do you want to say the name of the reverb?
Yeah, so this maybe the story we should lead up
Yes.
to with the story. So we're looking for plugins. It's like one of the first days we're kind of doing some light mixing on, this song, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
And Jeff said, I was like, what kind of reverb are we looking for here, man? Because like I didn't think a cathedral sort of thing would be right. I didn't, I didn't, wasn't sure. And you said, man, I just would like something old timey, kind of like and you went on to describe, something like, like you'd hear like out of an old radio or something like
Yeah,
that.
kind of crackly and kind of like,
Mhm.
hey kids,
But
like
yeah,
new and improved, like whatever. Like,
exactly.
yeah, like that.
Yeah. But like less than seconds after you mentioned the words old timey, I came across an amp plugin on. I'll just pull it up here. Where are we here?
So yeah, you're
I
like
came
so
across an
for
amp
to
plugin that was
illustrate.
called old
Yeah,
timey.
so to basically
guy
just like
here.
in plain terms, you're like basically scrolling through a drop down menu,
Yeah,
and one of them was literally called old timey.
yeah. So I wasn't even in reverbs. I'd already put a little bit of reverb on. I was just kind of looking to give it some character. And sure enough, I came across this thing called old timey. I think if I were to if I hit compare here, it actually starts quite a bit hotter. So that's where the natural old timey is set. I usually pull it back. Sometimes I'll do a little bit with the EQing in here, track to track. But this is pretty much the staple of Jeff's vocal sound. It just like it works with his vocal. Let's just
Yeah, can you do like a
yeah,
dry run without it
do
and
that.
then
Yeah.
add it and see what it
You read
kinda
my
does?
mind. So here's your vocals just dry.
My brother told me.
And that's not completely
it's
dry. I
too
have a little bit of,
That
reverb, but
girl's
mostly
been
just to enhance what kind of was already
wandering
happening in the
since
room.
June. Boy, don't I know. My
Um,
brother
so let's add the old
told
timey in.
me it's too soon.
We got the, hold on.
That girl.
Bear with me here. I've got some harmonies in there. Let's take those out for now.
Brother told me
There's old timey
it's
now.
too
Let's take it out.
soon. That girl's
It's out.
been wandering it's June, boy, don't I know.
Here's Old Timey by itself. Oh, back. So pretty subtle, you know, especially when you mix it in with the. It's relatively quiet, but it's doing a lot of. Like when it's not there, it feels missed, I think.
When you isolate it.
Mm-hmm. When you isolate it like this.
Yeah, it sounds almost like it's a megaphone and it's like far away, but it's kind of that on that old timey radio.
Exactly.
Which like, yeah, the fact that just serendipitously we found that after kind of trying to describe it to each other.
Exactly.
And then it just existed.
No, yeah, it couldn't have worked out any better. So yeah, and then in context with the whole band, you get.
My brother told me it's too soon.
I take that out. Very subtle. You hardly miss it, but you miss it. With just a little bit fatter. Just a little bit fatter.
Yeah. Well, that was actually kind of a fun. That was definitely a fun dive into that because you said old timey is almost in every song now.
And again, like from track to track, kind of its degree and the way it's kind of EQ'd.
Severity.
Exactly. It's different from track to track for sure, but it's the staple of your vocal sound for sure.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit more as we go down. Like I said, this is the third episode out of the 10-episode series. Don't I Know, our first single came out almost a year and a half ago now, which was crazy.
Time's flying.
If you're interested, we've got both CDs and vinyls of our project. Scenic City, you can pick those up at a show or just hit us up and we'll find you. Yeah.
Find you. Don't say it so creepily. Jeez.
That was the goal. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next time. We'll keep it rolling. But yeah, appreciate y'all stopping by.